Hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Okay, here we go. So I am in the backyard, and I am enjoying it back here because it has been really crazy out front. It's like every time I step outside the door, somebody goes just whizzing right by my house, And then next thing you know, here comes another, then another. It's almost like a train of cars making noise and trying to interrupt what it is I'm saying or speaking on. I don't take things as a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. These things are happening for a reason, and therefore, I have to move differently. Now, I'm going to speak on something that is going to probably upset a few people, like, a lot of the things I probably discussed because I'm telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And those individuals out there that do not like to hear the truth because hearing the truth reminds them that they're going to be receiving karma and or that they are currently going through something that they never thought that they would be going through. And the reason why they're going through it is because of the choices and decisions that they've made in the past. What God has for me is for me. What God has for you is for you. So if someone comes in to what it is that you have going on and tries to sabotage what you have going on because they don't want you to have what you currently have. They don't want you to experience what you're currently experiencing. And they low-key and or bluntly want to affect what it is that you have in hopes that they themselves are going to have it for themselves. That could be a relationship. That could be a job. That could be a career. That could be a social network. That could be a band. That could be a group. You apply it to how it needs to apply for you. I'm going to speak on relationships though. Relationships. And let me go back inside and let me sit in Papa's chair as I discuss and expound upon this because it's so important. It really is. It is so important. I'm reminded, of, certain individual that was jealous of a friendship that I had. She saw and or she noticed that the relationship, the friendship that I had with this individual, that it was good. It was real. It was something that she herself wanted, but she never found. And one of the reasons why she never found it was she was very pushy. She was very arrogant. She was very pushy. And she was a bully. That's really what it was. She was a bully. So her way of trying to get some satisfaction was to interrupt our friendship. And I shared things with her that I should not have shared with her. Nothing really serious, but when you have something good and you share it with another individual and they really don't wish the best or want the best for you, or they're low-key jealous or hateful or envious because you have something that they want or they desire, they will find different ways to interfere with that. Just how it is, unfortunately. That's why you got to keep your relationships to yourself, between you and the other person, and nobody else. I was reminded just now, years ago, there was another individual that was jealous of the relationship that I had, and they decided to interject themselves into our relationship through various ways. And it would cause arguments and disagreements between us, really just arguments. And I was just made aware that this person is now going through a similar thing, except she may be getting hands put on her, or there may be physical violence going on. And God said that that's not for me to even concern or worry myself about, because she made the choice that she made to be with the person that she's with. And she stole this guy and or acquired this relationship by doing the wrong thing. So she's currently going through judgment and karma, as well as the stress and trauma from being in an abusive relationship. She forced herself on this individual. She forced herself on this individual, and now she is dealing with the consequences of doing so. That man was not for her. That relationship was not for her. The relationship was for somebody else. I'm also going to speak on this too, and I talked about this a while back, but this is real. This is the truth. Men that are attracted to other men, and I'm not talking about transgender women. I'm not talking about transgender men. I'm talking about men that are attracted to other men, homosexuals. When they have been trapped in a relationship by a woman, by a female, either through marriage or having children, they will hold resentment. And I'm going to say this, a good majority of women out there know when a man is homosexual, and or when a man is not attracted to them. But they don't care. If they see that man as a catch, if they see that man as someone that could take care of her, if they see that man as being attractive and being someone that they could use even as a beard, they will attach themselves to that person. And they don't care. They don't care. They don't even think about the consequences. They're thinking about the benefits. They're thinking about the benefits. That's it. The benefits. What they're going to gain off of being attached to that man. I'm also reminded about years ago, there was an employee of my former spouse, my deceased spouse, who had a best friend that was a girl. And they came from the same town or whatever, and they were really close. But he was gay. He had a whole nother relationship with a guy. He was gay. He would still spend time with this girl. They were good friends, best friends, so on and so forth. They'd hang out, go to the clubs, go to the bars together. And she was what they would call a fag hag. Nothing wrong with a fag hag. The only problem is this girl really was in love with her friend who was homosexual. And she wanted to be in a relationship with her friend, with this guy. He was not interested at all. He was homosexual. He let it be known he was homosexual. She knew he was homosexual. But she was still interested in him regardless. She would get in arguments or fights with him from time to time, and they would stop talking to each other for a while. And then they'd come back together. And then they get in an argument. She'd start an argument or fight. They'd separate for a little while. Then they get back together. It reminds me of that. If there were any, or if there was any physical contact between her and that guy, I do not believe so. But what if there was physical contact? That is a tie to that individual. That makes the bond even stronger. Even if there is no attraction there, there still makes the bond there. Now imagine if they had a kid with each other. Imagine if they had a kid together. Same thing. That's a tie. That's a bond. That is what she wanted. She wanted some kind of tie, some kind of bond to him that would tie them together forever. Even if they were just going to be friends, she wanted some tie or some bond to him that would keep them together. He wasn't going from it from what I got, from what I gathered, from what I saw. But nowadays, today, you have women that will become friends with homosexual and or even a transgender woman and find them attractive, be interested in them, and do any and everything to try to get themselves attached to that person, and they're not interested. And so what they'll do is they will interject themselves into their relationships, try to damage their relationships, their friendships, their careers, their passions, hobbies, so on and so forth, because they want to be seen as the right choice. They want to be seen as, I'm the one you should pick. I'm the one you should be with. And until you see that, I'm going to destroy everything in your life. Ask me how I know. Some of these individuals are very toxic because they see what they could gain or how they could benefit off of being attached to this person or that person or whatever. Don't play games, because the same games that she played is one person I'm thinking about, and a few other people that I'm thinking about actually right now. It's actually to get them caught up. The consequences of doing these things, not only against me and other people, but them attaching themselves to someone that they should not attach themselves to for gain and benefit. And it's going to make the other person unhappy and or unsatisfied, but they don't care because they're being selfish. That's not right. That's not okay. That's not acceptable. You can't do that. Yet and still there are people out there that want to push themselves on other individuals and seeing that, well, I want what I want, how I want it, when I want it, the way I want it, and I'm going to get it however I have to. And if this person is not willing to give me what I want, then I'm going to take it. I'm going to steal it. I'm going to make them suffer. I'm going to make their life a living hell, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And that all has consequences. Trying to subject someone to be in a relationship with another person that they are not interested in, and then causing havoc and chaos in that other person's life because of the fact that that person is not interested in them. That's crazy. But you have people out there in the world that are crazy. It angers me even just talking about this now and thinking about certain individuals that I've come across and had dealings with that because they were interested in someone that was not interested in them, and they knew they were not interested in them because they were not the type of person that they were interested in or even looking at. There was no flirtation, there was no sexual contact, no sexual innuendos. Nothing physical was done between either person. It was just in one person's mind. They saw forever, and they saw a relationship, and they saw beautiful, wonderful things being attached to this other person, and they figured that if they couldn't have that person, then nobody could have him, and they went down a fucking rabbit hole, downward spiral, and basically lost their fucking minds. And there's no coming back. A lot of these people have sealed their fate to not only be alone for the rest of their lives, but also be in relationships that are not benefiting to them, that are not satisfactory, that are not pleasurable, that are not enjoyable, just so that they can be attached to somebody that may possibly end up abusing them. Physically abusing them, physically assaulting them. Because a lot of the times, individuals will attract abusers because they're wanting somebody to love them, they're wanting somebody to like them, they're wanting somebody to pay attention to them. And a lot of the time, these individuals feel like any attention is better than no attention. So even if this guy is a bad guy, or even if this girl is a bad girl, or even if this or that or the other, I'll just deal with it because I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be by myself. I want to have somebody. I want somebody to love me. And if that means that they're going to get physically violent with me, then okay, I'm not that type of person. And the other thing too is that some of these people that do end up getting in these relationships, they themselves are abusers and or abuse other people like me, like other individuals that had good hearts, were kind, loving, generally nice and respectful. But because we were not willing to go their way and or do what they wanted us to do, interact in a manner towards Him that they wanted us to act in a manner towards Him in, they decided to basically go off the deep end and come at us in the wrong way. And God has to get in that ass. I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully you got something from it. Bye.